Kwami, Kpondzo, who has over 15 years experience working with side organizations, resisting mining, gas, and oil. He works with Friends of the Earth Togo, as well as Friends of the Earth International, as the International Solidarity System focal person for Africa. He's also a coordinator of Oilwatch in Togo and a member of Oilwatch Africa Steering Committee, director of the Federation of NGOs in Togo. I was also, so he's one of very active in Fishnet Alliance in Togo. Kwame, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nemo, for giving me the opportunity to speak and share my ideas with comrade here. I would also like to join my voice to previous speakers to thank HOMEF and the team for this wonderful organization. Yeah, so I've been asked to share Oilwatch perspective in regards to the post-petroleum vision. So I'm going first to maybe express my thoughts or express views on the role of oil in the world and the role oil is playing in our daily life. And also in second part of my presentation, I will go through the pathway of moving slowly from oil and gas and fossil towards renewables. And I will conclude by presenting Oilwatch stand, Oilwatch perspective, Oilwatch strategies that we are putting forward to move really away from fossils. So as Marcelo and Nemo just said, I think people are still thinking that without oil, we cannot move forward. But we have realized that oil has changed the world negatively and also affected so many people. And he has a vital part of industry. So oil plays a role in agriculture, in transport. In industry, for instance, they use oil as energy to manufacturing some products. Agriculture, they use oil for tractor to cultivate, and in transport, we all use oil for our cars. So it's playing a role, a vital role in our life. But also have a destructive part, negative impact. And we need to pay attention on those impacts also. So oil extraction has impacts on environment and also on communities' livelihoods. So we have pollution, soil pollution, waters, they are all polluted. And that pollution has impacts on local foods, including fisheries activities. So as a previous presentation said, oil extraction has huge impact on fishermen. Fishermen do not have any more fish in the sea. So if they don't have fish, because their activities is the fish, if they don't have fish, then the local economy, the small economy is not there anymore because they cannot sell fish. So those are the negative impact oil does in our daily life. So oil extraction also leads to conflict and division within communities. The example of Goi and Bodo in Ogoni land. We got examples in Cote d'Ivoire, in Ghana, whereby fishermen communities are divided because some people say they need oil to function the machine to go to fish, and some they just said oil cannot be part of their activities because it's destroying fish pools. But we need to be very careful and recall that oil is a finite resource. So that's why people, the people who think that without oil, the world cannot move, should know that oil also is a finite resource. It's going to end in any case. So there will be soon a post-petroleum paradigm. So we need to be prepared for the post-petroleum era. They think, they don't believe, but it will happen anyway. So the question we need to pose ourselves is, what will be some major aspect of life at the post-petroleum time? So that question needs to be reflected and need to be discussed. So we prepare ourselves. As we all know, government, especially government in Africa and societies at large, face crises when they arrive. For instance, this COVID-19 crisis, we did not prepare ourselves for it. We have been saying that our health system is a failure, but they don't listen. So those kind of things happen and we face them. We don't have a possibility to anticipate and prevent and take prevention actions. I'm afraid that the post-petroleum paradigm will come as a surprise, because most of the people don't think that it will come. So we need to start preparing our life after oil. As we are talking now, I think little has been written about the world after oil. So this is the opportunity for us as civil society organization, as academia, as young, as youth, to have to take opportunity to influence the post-petroleum debates and put forward our perspectives. And this perspective, as we know, is we need really to move from fossils to renewables. We need to change the actual system, energy system, that are carbon system, to renewable energy system. So oil and climate. As I said, oil has a negative impact on environment, and oil also is a cause of climate change. So as you can read, it is important to recall that climate change is a change attributed largely to the increased levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide produced by the use of fossil fuels, mainly oil. More than 80% of the energy produced in the world is of that. Oil has a big part in climate change. So that's why we say, if we want to combat and we want to promote good solution or real solution to climate change, we need to move away from fossils, from oil and gas. So as you know, in 1992, the UNFCCC Framework Convention on Climate Change was adopted as a convention to negotiate a climate change. And one of the key protocol was adopted in 1997. The Kyoto Protocol was adopted to implement the objective of the UNFCCC to reduce the onset of global warming by reducing greenhouse gas concentration in the atmosphere to a level that will prevent dangerous anthropogenic interference with the climate change. So it has started. So we were thinking, people have started thinking that since oil and gas and fossil has impact on climate change, we need to think and move away. Those are the documents, but the action from people are very slow, and people think that they can fool people with those documentation. That's why we are very much engaged in climate change negotiation to help people enforce those protocols. But the Kyoto Protocol moves to another declaration, another agreement. And in 2015, the Paris Agreement was adopted. And this agreement set out a global framework to avoid dangerous climate change by limiting global warming to well below 2 degrees and pursuing efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees Celsius. It also aims to strengthen countries' ability to deal with the impacts of climate change and support them in their efforts. We are engaging in this COP also to let people know that putting those good words in the paper is not enough. We need real change. And as we are saying, limiting the temperature to 1.5 degrees is clearly saying that we need to end fossils, we need to end oil. Otherwise, we are not going anywhere. The climate change will continue. As Nemo said in his comments, he said in near future, if we don't leave oil, if we don't leave fossil, we're going to have more than 1.5, and we're going to burn the earth. So civil society organizations, including Oilwatch, are campaigning to shift from fossil fuels to alternatives that are in harmony with nature. So we need very much good actions that are in harmony with nature. That's very important for Oilwatch also. So in terms of strategies, what Oilwatch is doing to move away from fossil fuel, because we need to think of having oil and gas in the ground, and also think of what will be our place in post-petroleum. So Oilwatch is demanding to leave the oil in the soil. No more oil wells and no more gas flaring. Africa, as you know, is among the most vulnerable places that climate change has been impacting. Millions more are falling through the crack into deeper poverty and the destruction of the environment. So we need to end climate change. And by ending climate change, we need to leave the oil in the soil. That is the big campaign that Oilwatch is carrying on. So the sustainable fossil fuel extraction is impossible to implement. Some people say we need to put in place a strong environmental impact or environmental plan to counter or to enable extraction of fossils, to enable extraction of oil. Let me tell you, it won't happen. Oil is a destructive product. We can't. How do you call it? It's like children who play with toys. Oil is not toys. We can't play with oil. So we need to be very clear on that. We need to make sure that oil is left in the soil. So leaving the oil in the soil is seen by Oilwatch to be the best way to start the pushback against climate change and poverty. And of course, to start thinking of beyond oil and life after oil. So we need to start thinking of life after oil. Time to change the energy system has come. The time is now. So we need to go forward for that. So one of the brilliant campaign that Oilwatch has put forward, and we still on, we are pushing, is that Annex 0. If you recall, in the UNFCCC framework, there is Annex 1 who listed the the rich countries, the countries that are producing, are emitting. So they have been holding accountable to reduce their emission. So as we were thinking and working with communities, we have realized that some of the communities are also very strong on the fields, and they have kept oil in the ground. So we think that it would be good to acknowledge those communities that are fighting to keep oil in the ground. For instance, Yasuni communities in Amazon have been struggling, and they kept the oil in the ground for so long. Ogoni, they chased shell away. So it is a success story that we need to take into consideration. So we put forward Annex 0. We proposed that Annex 0 to COP in Paris in December 2015, and further in Madrid in 2019 at COP 25. So the purpose of this document is to present the commitment and efforts of the people, nationalities, and communities against the extraction of oil, gas, or carbon as a contribution to avoid the climate disaster. In addition to these commitments, a petition was presented to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, and member governments to recognize, respect, promote, and protect these actions as a goal to protect climate change and life on the planet. So we believe that by so pushing, we're going definitely to have a victory on that, because the real solution is to keep the oil in the soil. So the indicators of Annex 0 are the following. So fossil carbons maintained in the ground, that is very important. Forms of life based on a respectful dialogue with the nature, that's very key. Struggles against carbon and other mining due to their effects on the climate, and for consuming elevated amounts of fossil fuel. Steady steps towards a debate on the type of energy required for what, for whom, how much, and on the exercise of sovereignty of the people and territories. As Marcelo said, we need to interrogate this system, energy system. People are extracting oil, coal, gas for energy. So it's for whom? If we are not benefiting that energy, then let's leave that system and then go to another system that will benefit everyone, that will benefit people, that will benefit communities. So we need to go for that. So repudiation to mechanisms such as carbon market, REDD+, and other forced solutions to climate change need to be kept out, need to be pushed away. So clear commitment to non-extraction and emancipation from fossil fuels by the people. So those are the indicators, and I'm sure gradually we're going to mark okay for those indicators as we are slowly moving towards we are phasing out oil. We have been also engaged in mobilization, movement building. So Oilwatch Africa Network resists the negative impact of oil and gas industries, build solidarity among the people and the global south, and support national and regional organizations to act at the local level and collaborate at the international level to protect life and local livelihoods. Oilwatch Africa is a long-standing oil and gas host community partner, strategize, plan with them, and resist with them against all forms of extraction. So Oilwatch is a resisting network that work with communities, plan with them, And as I'm speaking now, I can tell you that last year we had Oilwatch Africa General Assembly in Port Harcourt, where we went to see fishermen affected by oil pollution. So we went there to show solidarity and tell them that they are in they cannot fear, but there is a solidarity behind them, and together we can win the battle, because we need fish, not oil. We need food, not oil. We need soil, not oil. We need our environment. We need to be in harmony with our environment. But oil comes and destroys everything. We call you to join our struggle now, because we need to build more movement. We need to build more power to challenge this actual system, energy system that we are having now. We need to build more power to move away from oil and prepare our life after oil. So Oilwatch has put forward some main declarations and calls, and I'm going to share with you some very key declaration and calls quickly. So Oilwatch Africa declares that African governments must urgently diversify national economy away from dependence on fossil fuels, exploitation of peoples, and the destruction of gifts of nature. So communities must give their free prior informed consent for fossil fuels projects proposed for their territories, while retaining their right to say no. So this specific declaration was from 2019, where we had Oilwatch Africa conference in Lamu, and we started campaigning against coal mining in Lamu. And as you heard, they have put a stop on that coal mining for now. So it means that if you are together, you can achieve more. So we declare also that government should urgently transit to renewable energy for all, owned and controlled by people. If it benefits people, then we go for it. That's very important. Oil is not benefiting people, it's destroying livelihoods only. So land tenure system on the continent must respect community ownership as dedicated by culture and tradition. We calls on African government to hear and respond to the voices of Africans on issues of fossil fuels extraction and climate change, to protect citizens and the environment against adverse climate, adverse climate impact. So we believe that by calling governments, they will hear us. So we don't give up, but we say we should always call on them. So we also call on African governments, call on all relevant multinationals and regional organizations and financing institutions to demand real climate action through a phase out of fossil fuel. I would like to conclude by pointing out some key issues. So there is no doubt that the world is moving away from fossil fuels, and we really need to getting prepared to end fossil fuels. What will be our life after oil? So that is the opportunity for discussion, and we need to start discussing it. We need to deepen our discussion on the life after oil. What will be our life? It is also true that multinationals, capitalists are still pushing for more fossil fuels extraction because they just want their benefits. They don't care. They do not care for anyone. They care for their own benefit, no matter what happens. So we need to tackle them. We need to tell them that our life is important than oil. So the debates on the energy transition towards renewable energy needs to be deepened. What kind of renewable energy do we want? The discussion around dams, small or big, biomass, need to be done. So we need to discuss and have a clear position of what we want and share among civil society organizations. So we need to influence the debates of phasing out oil. So we need also to mobilize. Movement building is key. Solidarity with communities is also key. So we need to mobilize with people and also resist with them. And what we are resisting is oil and gas projects. It's very important. So another world is possible, world with another energy system is possible. Thank you very much for your attention.